Previously, in the dungeon of the Mad Mage, inside the protective walls of Spiderwatch Keep, the party, with Matashtai restored to life, was busy making plans with the leadership of House Freth, their new allies. There was... Whoop. Thanks. There was a lot on the table, not the least of which was impending war with House Avrendar. But after some discussion, it was understood that mobilizing the forces of House Freth and the party's allies wouldn't be a simple task. There were numerous obstacles that lay between the territories of the Drow houses, giving the advantage to whoever was on the defensive. Time and the party's aid would be needed to remove some of these obstacles, which meant that the party had time for other tasks that lay on their plate. Namely, informing their allies of the impending war so that they had time to mobilize, recuperating from Matashtai's resurrection, and finding a way to Dalcor, the region of dreams, in order to find, and if necessary, rescue Valenna. Not all of these tasks would be as simple as others, and there was some concern over whether Avrendar would retaliate in the meantime. As a measure to seal their alliance and provide some modicum of reinforcement to the Skulltakers, Balrin was given charge of a contingent of Drow warriors that would travel to the Lost Levels and remain there as an extension of House Freth. So, a gathering was had in the parade ground out of Spiderwatch Keep as Erlal Freth, the Great Mother, gave her blessing to the party and those that would be traveling with them. The party conversed with some of their allies in the meantime, with Ashes specifically speaking to Zaftal, one of Eralal's sons, about Borden Brooks, one of the Blood Hunter's mentors. Borden had apparently impressed Zaftal, but unfortunately the Drow warrior had little information on the old Lycan's whereabouts, other than that he had traveled downward, mentioning the Death's Head mercenaries as a potential next stopping point. And so the party traveled into the maze with a large entourage, but fortunately they did so without facing down the mist or its Minotaur inhabitants. They took the portal, where Matashtai had the realization that perhaps with time and a proper solution, they could re-empower their mysterious ally. And then their arrival back at the heart of the mountain was met with much fanfare, with the Skulltakers being especially excited about Balrin's return and the prospect of having other guests. From here, the party traveled their normal path, heading up to the Willowwood, where they discovered that Willow had installed a Trent protector to help improve their defenses, and had collected the bodies of the 3 goblins that had been slain in the woods, future Skulltakers that never got to be. With Willow's blessing, the party headed to the Arcane Chambers, and then back down to the Sargoth level after a chance encounter with Halaster, and then into the Legion's territory, which had seemingly expanded greatly. Without the Sargoth Coven and the Xanathar hemming in the Hobgoblins, they had fully expanded into the 3rd level of the dungeon. Unfortunately, as the party traveled through the Stromkolder ruins, they realized the Legion's success might be a double-edged sword. It was clear the ranks of the Legion had swollen with the inclusion of the goblins and bugbears from the Xanathar Guild, and it seemed potentially too much growth too quickly. The normal air of discipline was gone, the streets filled with refuse, and a sullen, confrontational atmosphere gripped Azrok's hold. Regardless, the party were Legion heroes, and their arrival was welcomed with much fanfare. In Azrok's feast hall, they were celebrated, with Lurkana and Azrok personally welcoming them. And then, Bones spoke to Azrok publicly of House Avrendar, and the threat to the Skulltakers, the threat to the Legion. And Azrok immediately gave the order to prepare for war, regardless of the issues that the Legion currently faced. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.